Okay, welcome to our discussion for medical surgical nursing, particularly communicable and non-communicable diseases. But, well, we can all consider them infectious. No? We'll be discussing HIV slash AIDS, infectious mononucleosis, and also candidiasis. So let's start with acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay, so the HIV virus is a chronic viral infection that progressively destroys the immune system. Okay. It specifically targets the CD4 plus or CD4 positive T lymphocytes, a part of our cell-mediated immunity, as discussed during our introduction to communicable diseases and the infection control and infectious processes. No, the CD4 lymphocytes, especially the helper T cells. So yun ang mga kasama sa CD4 plus lymphocytes, the helper T cells and the natural killer cells or the NK cells. So explain lang natin kung sino si CD4 plus, no? So CD4 plus cells are cells that have the CD4 receptors in them. Okay, for example, ito si ba't wala na naman? For example, ito si CD4. Okay? So this is CD4. Lagi siyang merong receptor na CD4 receptor. Okay? Pwede to si natural killer cells. Pwede rin naman, for example, sino kasi mga CD4 pa? Si this is your helper T cells. Okay, mga CD4 din yan. Sino pa ba yung CD4? Macrophages. Okay? Those cells that ingest um, pathogens. Okay? Pero let us all remember that these are part of your cell-mediated immunity. So these are, pag sinabi nating cell-mediated immunity, they target microorganisms that are inside the cells. Okay? Hindi sa plasma, hindi sa extracellular spaces, but pathogens and disease-causing microorganisms that are inside the cell already. Okay, so that is the function of your CD4. Kapag wala kang CD4, ibig sabihin, you are very prone to diseases. You are very prone to even diseases that are caused by microorganisms that are naturally repelled by our immune system. So kahit na sobrang konting-konti lang na pumasok sa'yo, which is supposedly in a normal person, kayang-kaya siyang labanan ng immune system because of the decrease of the CD4 cells, the helper T cells, and the natural killer cells, especially your phagocytes and macrophages. No? Even the simplest disease pwedeng maging complicated in a person who has AIDS infection. Okay? So, HIV remains a major public health concern with a rapidly increasing number of cases. Okay? So, after HIV, okay, without treatment, okay, without medical management, it would progress. HIV infection would progress to acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which is the most severe stage of this disease. It is characterized by immunosuppression. Siguro hindi lang natin pwedeng immunosuppression lang kasi it is very profound. You know, parang wala na, hindi na nag-exist yung defense mechanisms mo inside the body because it is profoundly affected by your AIDS. Right? For example, even the smallest or the least possible indigenous microflora that would cause diarrhea to us normal people, sa kanila, life-threatening na yung diarrhea nila. Okay, so that's the effect of not having a potent immune system. Okay, a very profound immunosuppression and immunocompromisation inside the bodies of our AIDS patients. Okay, so again, it is characterized by profound immunosuppression, okay, and then eventually life-threatening opportunistic infections. Okay, pwede ring mag-develop ng certain malignancies. Okay. Sabi natin, HIV remains a major public health concern. Why? Kasi in the Philippines, HIV is a growing public health issue. Okay? Yung DOH, the DOH notes a rapid increase, especially among the teens, okay, and young adults, okay, aged 15 to 34 years old. However, here in Pampanga, the youngest, nabanggit ko na ba sa inyo? Hindi pa yata, no? The youngest individual who has been diagnosed with HIV would be a 12-year-old boy from Mabalacat City. Okay, imagine, a 12-year-old boy, nung 12 years old, ano na bang ginagawa nyo? Nanliligaw na ba kayo noon? Ako yata parang sumutulo pa yung sipon ko noon eh. So, at 12 years old, tapos nung in-interview siya, nagkaroon ng intervention, umamin yung bata na it is through sexual contact. So, napaka-concerning lang ng ganong klaseng situations, no? Tapos share ko lang din, meron kasi akong ginagawang isang thesis, no? Um, it's about the HIV, sexually transmitted infections, including HIV, awareness among junior high school and senior high school students. Okay, hindi ako ma-approve kasi sabi nila, HIV and sexually transmitted infections are very taboo and they should not be talked about during the senior high and junior high school. Well, I beg to disagree because most of the affected new cases of HIV today in the Philippines, particularly in Pampanga, are within that age range. Diba? So it's very hypocritical na lang sa mga tao, especially those who are managing our younger population, our senior high school, especially our junior high school, that HIV and sexually transmitted infection are not being talked about in the schools. Kasi hindi naman alam to ng mga magulang natin who are not medically inclined, who are not medically related, who are not in the medical field. So who would they expect to raise awareness or open the minds of our young children, our teenagers and our young adults regarding HIV and other sexually transmitted infection? Of course, the school. But if the school would treat these issues as taboo and should not be talked about, wala tayong magagawa doon. Okay, talagang tataas ng tataas ng tataas ang cases natin. So what we should advocate for is awareness regarding certain causes which is relevant to our country, which is the Philippines, so that tawag dito, we could be prepared, okay, for the rising cases of HIV and STIs in the Philippines. Okay? Lagi nating tatandaan that HIV is treatable. Okay? It is treatable. Iba po ang treatable sa curable. Right? Why? We could not fully eradicate 100% the viruses that have been invading our systems kapag na-invade tayo ng HIV. But it is treatable. Okay? Ibig sabihin, U equals to U. Okay? Ibig sabihin, undetectable, ibig sabihin, untransmissible. Kapag hindi detectable ang viruses mo sa bloodstream mo, hindi na siya makita dahil sobrang konti na lang, hindi ka na rin makakahawa. Okay? So individuals can achieve viral suppression pag sinasabi nating undetectable. We are suppressing the transcriptase inhibition or the division. Hindi ko pwedeng gawing cellular division kasi HIV is a virus and therefore it does not undergo cellular division, right? So kapag sinabi nating viral suppression, ibig sabihin hindi na nagkakaroon ng duplication. There is no duplication of the viruses para dumami sila inside our body. Kapag hindi na sila detectable, therefore the person is untransmissible or hindi na siya nakakahawa kahit makipag-sex pa siya kahit ilang beses sa isang araw. Okay? So, yun. Okay, let's talk about the classification and the nature of the HIV. Okay. Sabi natin the classification of HIV would be HIV as an RNA virus. Okay, it is an RNA virus. Pag sinabi nating RNA, it is what does RNA mean? What does an RNA means? RNA is a ribonucleic acid. So, meron tayong dalawang klase ng nucleus. Okay, the nucleus is the structure of the cell or the part of a virus or other disease-causing microorganisms or a cellular microorganisms that holds the tawag dito, the genetic material. Okay, so meron tayong DNA, but wala yung ballpen ko. Okay, we have our DNA, we also have our RNA. Pag sinabi nating DNA, that is this deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, kapag naman RNA, that is your ribonucleic acid. Okay? So HIV belongs to the family Retroviridae. Okay, it belongs to the family Retroviridae. It is classified as a lentivirus, meaning it causes slow progressive diseases. That is why hindi siya kaagad-agad nakikita. Later, we will talk about the incubation period and the period of communicability of HIV and AIDS. Okay. Ay, wait. All right. So, also retrovirus characteristics. What are the characteristics of a retrovirus? Okay. The HIV retrovirus is a single-stranded positive sense RNA virus. So it is a ribonucleic acid virus. Okay. It is an envelope virus, meaning it is well protected. Okay. Has an outer phospholipid layer as compared to other microbacteria or gram-positive and other microorganisms that have a peptidoglycan layer, no? This RNA virus, which is envelope, which is made up of a phospholipid layer or a phosphophilic layer, is much more harder to eradicate than gram-positive bacteria. Okay, and it contains a unique set of enzymes. We have your reverse transcriptase, your integrase, and your protease. So yung mga enzymes na to, okay, are the enzymes that are secreted, that are produced by the HIV. Wait lang. Alright, so na tayo. Okay, so meron tayong reverse transcriptase. Pag sinabi nating reverse transcriptase, this is one of the defining enzymes of HIV. Alright, so sabi natin, reverse transcriptase, one of the defining enzymes of HIV. Kanina sinabi ko, marami tayong mga tawag dito, enzymes that are produced by the HIV inside our bodies. But one of the most definitive enzymes that we should be aware of is your reverse transcriptase. Okay, so reverse transcriptase allow the virus to replicate inside the human host cells. Okay, ibig sabihin, ini-invade niya yung cells, tapos yung DNA, may RNA, yung RNA, sorry, ni virus, ini-inject niya sa sariling nucleus ng ating cellular components, and nag-i-inject siya ng reverse transcriptase doon. So the reverse transcriptase allows the viral and the RNA to be converted into the viral DNA. So kapag DNA na, it is able na to produce multiple copies of itself. Okay, kapag DNA na, it allows multiple copies of itself and it enables the virus to integrate into the host DNA. So sasabihin ni DNA ng body, DNA ko to. So I need to produce more copies of this one. So kapag nag-produce ka ng copies, even though na hindi ka naman talaga, hindi naman yun ang sarili mong cells, right? Nagkakaroon ng discrepancies. Okay? So that is the reason why there is rapid multiplication. However, let us remember that HIV is a slow disease process. Hindi siya automatic, hindi siya mabilisan. Okay? So also, we are talking about the HIV envelope glycoproteins. Okay, so your glycoproteins are your GP120 and GP41. So these are critical in the virus' ability to infect human immune cells. Okay, We have your GP120, which is responsible for the initial binding to the CD4 receptor cells, especially sa mga T cells natin. So the GP120, ay nawawala. Okay, is lang ako. Alright, so the CD4 receptor and helper T cells, okay? And also your GP41, which binds to other receptors. So ang pinaka-importante dito, it binds to CD4 plus cells. Okay, again, these are your natural killer cells and your helper T cells. And then, ano ba yung ano ba yung target natin? So yung mga target ng proteins na to are your entry inhibitors. Okay? Okay. So itong mga GP120 and GP41, these are very critical. Why? Because they are the glycoproteins. Okay, these are the glycoproteins that allow entry into the cells. Okay? Nagbabind sila sa glycoproteins ng ating cellular structures or mga cells natin inside the body, specifically your CD4 positive cells, which are your natural killer cells, and your helper T cells, and help invade the cells, the host cells. Okay? So ito po, mechanism GP121 binds to the CD4 receptor and the coach receptor binding, which is the CCR5 or the CXCR4, and these are bound using your GP41. Okay, and then that mediates the fusion of the GP41 and the GP120 into the host cells and allow for viral entry. Okay, after the entry of the CD4, the GP41, and the GP120, allowing entry of the HIV into the host cells, okay, it would release the reverse transcriptase. Okay, it would cause reverse transcription and integrate into the host DNA. So, kapag nakapag-inject na ng reverse transcriptase na enzyme si HIV sa ating mga cells, ano nangyayari? They would treat it as something that is natural inside the cell. So they would replicate inside the cell until such a time that the cell would be destroyed. Okay? Ay. Okay. So we have the pathophysiology. Okay. The first part is that the HIV binds to the target cells, which are our CD4 plus T cells. Okay, so again, these are your natural helper cells, natural killer cells, and your helper T cells via your glycoproteins, your GP120 and your GP41, which allows for entry into the cells. Okay. After that, the viral RNA enters the cell and releases reverse transcriptase, which converts the RNA, okay, into into a DNA, okay, that is able to replicate via the cellular structures. Okay. The viral DNA integrates into the host genome and reproduces. Well, therefore, the cell becomes a viral factory, which produces new virions. Let us remember, what are virions? Virions are not actually whole viruses. Okay? Virions are your part of the cell. Usually, part of the virus, I mean. Hindi siya buong virus, ha? These are only the protein parts of the virus. Okay, however, they are still capable of causing disease because these are pathogenic as well. Okay, so the CD4 cells or the host cells are destroyed. Okay, and then the immunodeficiency develops. Okay? Again, the target of the HIV virus would be your HIV virus. The HIV is your CD4 cells. Okay, there is only a limited number of CD4 cells inside our body. Kapag ang CD4 cells namatay, this is your natural killer cells and your helper T cells. Kapag nawala sila, of course, wala ka ng CMI or cell-mediated immunity. Therefore, your immunodeficiency would develop until such a time that you are immunosuppressed enough for smaller and weaker pathogens to cause diseases inside your body, and they would cause a full-blown manifestation or full-blown clinical sign and symptoms of those diseases. Okay? Right. For your acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, mode of transmission, we have your sexual transmission. Okay? Pag sinabi nating sexual transmission, of course, sexually transmitted yan. Okay? Hindi yan, ang pangalan nito, kailangan lang natin magkaroon ng sexual contact. Okay? So, sexual contact via your heterosexual, okay, and then your homosexual activities then. Okay? Sir, pag sinabi nating sexual transmission, tawag dito, can HIV be transmitted via oral sex? Okay, depende. Right? It would depend. Why? Kasi, example, you have a large, okay, one person has a large caseload or a high viral load of HIV. Siyempre, HIV is present in the semen, right? So, for example, you did an oral sex with another person, you being an HIV, a person living with HIV or PLHIV, sabi natin. Okay. Tapos nagkaroon ng oral sex between another person. Tapos sabihin natin that the other person has like fissures or not intact or hindi intact yung kanilang skin integrity or ang tissue integrity nila sa throat, okay, or sa mouth. Tapos pumasok doon sa wounds na yon yung semen which have HIV. Of course, that would be tawag dito, that would be a source of infection. So again, let us remember that sexual transmission, especially unprotected sex, okay, is the primary mode of transmission for your HIV. Okay. With the highest risk being the receptive anal intercourse. Pag sinabi nating receptive anal intercourse, ikaw yung receptor. Okay? Ikaw yung tagatanggap. Receptive anal intercourse. Okay. In the Philippines, sexual transmission is the leading causes of HIV among young men. Okay? Yung kaninang binanggit ko na 12-year-old from Mabalacat City na nagkaroon ng HIV, na inadmit din niya na mas matandang lalaki yung sexual intercourse niya, na feeling niya doon nanggaling yung HIV. Okay? So also blood and blood products can be a source of transmission. Okay? Sharing of contaminated needles, okay, via your IV drugs, tattooing, especially kapag hindi sterile yung mga tattoo equipment na ginagamit sa inyo. Right? And then, pwede rin namang blood transfusion, but this is very, very rare because blood transfusion has its screening. Di ba? Meron tayong blood screening. So, that would include HIV screening. Okay. Also, we have your perinatal or your mother-to-child transmission, or what we call your MTC, okay, or your vertical transmission. Okay. It is transferable during pregnancy via your umbilical cord. Okay. It could also be transmitted during birth. Okay. And then through breastfeeding then. Wait lang. Again. Okay, nasa na tayo? Ayan, mother-to-child transmission. Vertical transmission through the placenta during birth and through your breastfeeding. Okay. However, maternal-to-child transmission can be reduced with less than 2% of maternal ART. So kapag nag-antiretroviral therapy na si mother, okay, kung si mother ay nag-ART or antiretroviral therapy, tapos meron ka pang safe childbirth practices, at meron ka pang formula feeding, hindi ka nagbe-breastfeed, mas mababa yung chances ni baby na magkaroon ng HIV. Okay? So there are also considerations that we need to consider during mother to child vertical transmission para mabawasan yung chances. Okay? Let us all remember, guys, class, that HIV is not transmitted through hugging, through kissing, and through sharing utensils. Okay? Please let us stop the stigma. Alisin na natin yung stigma ng HIV because stigma is a treatable disease. HIV is a treatable disease. Okay? Let us not compare it to other diseases that could be easily transmissible. No. Okay? Hanggat hindi ka makipagbembangan dyan sa katabi mo, hindi ka magkaka-HIV, excuse me. Okay? Kahit gaano ka dumikit sa akin sa jeep, kahit gaano ka magsalita sa akin, kahit tumasik-talsik pa yung laway mo sa harapan ko, hindi ako makakahawa sa'yo. Hindi ka mahahawa sa akin. So let us remove that stigma of HIV being highly contagious. But if you have sexual transmission, especially unprotected sex with an individual living with HIV, that would be the time for you to get screening. We have enough screening centers. Okay? There are screening centers, multiple screening centers across Pampanga, across San Fernando, across other municipalities and cities here in the Philippines. So, alisin na natin yung stigma because early detection and early awareness is our weapon against the increased transmission or the increased case transmission of HIV in the Philippines. All right? Mosquito bites is not also transmissible. Eh, kasi hindi naman mabubuhay si HIV sa dugo sa loob ng pangalan nito, sa loob ng mosquitos. Okay, kahit kinagat yung HIV ng isang mosquito tapos kinagat ka ng mosquito na yon, hindi po siya nakakahawa. Alright? So, tears, sweat, saliva are not transmissible, are not able to transmit HIV infections across individuals because of insufficient viral loads. Okay? Are we clear? Right, next. Okay, our incubation period. Sabi natin, incubation period of HIV is 2 to 4 weeks after exposure. Usually, alam mo na nagkaroon ka or pag nagkaroon ka ng nagka-unprotected sex ka with an individual, tapos bigla kang linagnat, sumama yung pakiramdam mo. Okay? Tapos after 2 hours, after 4 hours, nawala. Okay? That would be the initial entry of the HIV infection into your system. However, okay, yan no, acute in HIV infection is after 2 to 4 weeks after exposure. Kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng HIV testing, ng HIV screening sa mga testing centers natin every month after exposure. Why? Kasi we are trying to consider the 4 weeks after exposure of our incubation period. Okay. Then we have your asymptomatic or your clinical latency. Ibig sabihin, you are already positive for HIV. However, you are not experiencing any symptoms at all. Hindi ka mahina, hindi mababa ang immunosuppression, hindi mababa ang immune system mo. Okay, malakas ka, may gana kang kumain, hindi ka pumapayat, hindi ka nilalagnat, hindi ka nagda-diarrhea. Okay? So you are asymptomatic and you have no clinical manifestation for 2 to 10 years. So average of 8 years without treatment. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin nito? Kapag natapos na ang clinical latency mo at hindi ka nag-treatment, it would advance into AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay? So when your CD4 count is less than 200 cells per millimeters cubed, or when an opportunistic infection develops, especially your PCP, we will be talking about that later on in our discussion. Okay, kapag meron ka ng mga PCP, meron ka ng mga vaginal candidiasis which are very defensible, okay, in an average person without HIV, okay, you'll be diagnosed with HIV. Syempre, ite-test na yung HIV load mo. Okay, so what is the implication of this one? Okay, we have to advocate for early screening. Why? Kasi kapag early screening, detect natin may HIV infection ka. We could start an antiretroviral therapy. And kapag nag-start tayo ng antiretroviral therapy, our aim is to promote undetectable HIV in our blood. Again, kapag undetectable, untransmissible. Okay? So pathophysiology, ito kanina pa to natin kanina pa natin to pinag-aaralan, no? Virus entry. Okay, again, your binders. Okay, again, your binders is your GP41 and your GP120. Okay, and then it would bind to our host cells, which are your CD4. Okay, and it would release our reverse transcriptase that would convert the RNA to DNA, which would integrate the viral DNA as a host genome. Okay, and then for replication, the cells produces new viruses until it would be destroyed. Okay, so there is direct killing of the CD4 cells and immune-mediated destruction because decrease of your cell-mediated immunity. Okay? And then, after that, you would have progressive immunodeficiency. Kapag bumababa na ang CD4 count mo, wala ka ng cell-mediated immunity. Of course, magkakaroon ka ng opportunistic infections, malignancies, wasting, and your death. Alright? Okay. Clinical manifestations. For stage 1, acute HIV infection. So ito yung unang-una nating mararamdaman kapag meron na tayong HIV at dumadami na po ang HIV natin sa katawan. So it occurs 2 to 4 weeks post-exposure, like your flu-like illness, fatigue, sore throat. So ito yung mga sinasabi nating mararamdaman mo the night after or nights after having unprotected sex via a person with HIV. Okay? Yung para kang tinatrangkaso. Okay? Also, lymphadenopathy, ibig sabihin, meron kang enlargement of your lymph nodes. Okay? Rashes, unexplained rashes. Okay? Wala naman akong hinawakan. Wala naman akong wala naman akong allergies. However, nagka-rashes ako without knowing why. Okay? Myalgia and arthralgia, ibig sabihin masakit ang kasukasuan, masakit ang muscles, and then oral and genital ulcers without apparent causes. Okay? So kapag high ang viral load mo, very infectious ka na during this time. Okay? It will not parang sasabihin natin na kahit na nasa acute HIV infection ka pa lang, infective ka na. Okay? Pwede ka nang mag-transmit ng disease kahit wala ka pang nararamdaman. Okay, so we have to be very careful, and we also always have to advocate for early checking and constant screening for HIV. Next, your stage 2, your chronic HIV infection, your clinical latency, which we can see around 2 to 10 years after exposure. Matagal, di ba? Okay, so your chronic HIV infection would be often asymptomatic. Okay, wala tayong nararamdaman. Malakas tayo. Right? Hindi natin alam na may sakit na pala tayo. We have an impending disease inside our bodies which are currently and constantly replicating into something that is very dangerous. We have also persistent generalized lymphadenopathy. Bakit kaya ako nagkakakulani? Why am I able to palpate for my lymph nodes pero wala naman akong infection? Akala mo wala kang infection because you are asymptomatic. Okay? There is a decrease in your viral load but remains detectable. Okay? Bakit kaya? Kasi nawawalan ka na ng CD4 cells eh. Bumababa na yung CD4 cells mo. So, hindi na nade-detect usually si HIV. Kasi nagbabind lang siya sa CD4 cells. Kapag naman nagre-replicate na yung CD4 cells mo, pumapasok na naman si HIV doon, nagkakaroon ka na naman ng increased viral load. Okay? However, kahit na mababa ang viral load mo, you are still positive with HIV. Okay? And then slow decline in CD4 count. Kaya sinasabi natin the HIV is a slow but it is a progressive disease. Okay? It is a slow but it is a progressive disease. And then finally, we have your AIDS. Okay? Your stage 3 or your AIDS, okay, which is your which is the last, okay, the latent manifestation of your HIV infection. Okay? So, stage 3 AIDS, ang diagnostic criteria natin dito kapag ang CD4 mo is less than 200 cells per millimeter cube or meron kang AIDS-defining illnesses, sabi nga natin, di ba? Kapag mababa na ang CD4 count or meron kang opportunistic infection or opportunistic pathogen invasion. Okay, so we have your pneumocystis jirovecii pneumonia or PCP. Okay? Or pneumocystic carinii. Your pneumocystis carini is usually the cause of death of patients with AIDS. Okay, ano ba tong pneumocystis carini na to? Si pneumocystis carini is a fungi. Okay, that is present in our skin. Okay, it is an indigenous microflora of the skin. Kapag pumasok yan sa body, it would not cause infection at all. Mabilis lang malabanan yan ng ating immunity, ang ating immune system. However, we are still dealing with very and profound immunocompromised and profound immunosuppressed patients with HIV. Therefore, yung simpleng fungi lang natin sa balat, nagkakaroon ng pneumonia. At ang pneumonia na to usually are the cause of death of our people with HIV. Okay. Kaposi sarcoma, okay, is also seen with people with HIV, although not always or not all the time. Okay, this is one of the malignancies that are developed during your HIV infection or your AIDS development. Okay, CMV or your cytomegalovirus. Okay, and tuberculosis, which is very common in the Philippines. Actually, yung tuberculosis is a co-debilitating disease, a comorbidity of cases of HIV and AIDS here in the Philippines. Okay? So, minsan, 90% of the time, kapag may HIV ka sa Pilipinas, meron ka na ring pneumonia. Tuberculosis. Okay? Meningitis, cryptococcal, toxoplasmosis, or Toxoplasma gondii invasion, and chronic diarrhea that lasts for more than 1 month, and your wasting syndrome. Your wasting syndrome is your mabilisang pagpayat, mawawala ng muscle tone, nawawala ng muscle mass, okay? Kumukuba dahil sa kapayatan, and we term that as the term kakisya. Tandaan niyo to. Okay? Pag nakarinig kayo ng kakisya, ibig sabihin that is severe wasting syndrome. Alright? Kakisya. Right. Throughout the development of HIV into AIDS, we would be experiencing a set of clinical manifestations, a set of signs and symptoms that we can experience throughout the stages of the disease. And that would be, one would be chronic weakness. Okay, nangihina ka, generalized weakness, hindi mo walang pinipiling oras, walang pinipiling lugar. Weight loss and persistent fever or night sweats, which is also indicative of your tuberculosis. We have your oral thrush, which is your candidiasis infection. Okay, your candida infection. Also, chronic diarrhea, again, lasting for more than 10 months. And your skin lesions, rashes, mga carbuncles, okay, other your mga papules and macules that have no reason to appear pero nagkakaroon ka. Okay? So kapag meron ka ng skin lesions or your rashes, yung mga carbuncles or mga, ang tawag dito, mga pus filled na malalaki, ang tawag nyo doon, mga, nakalimutan ko yung Tagalog ng carbuncle, sorry. And then papule and macules, these are all indicative of the clinical manifestations of AIDS. Okay? Alright, so we go to your laboratory test to screen. Okay, meron tayong mga bago na ngayon, but before we are using the ELISA or the enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. It would detect the HIV antibody but it is not confirmatory. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng maging iba dahil meron kang few false results. Okay, few false negative results. At hindi siya tawag dito, hindi siya confirmatory kasi baka mag-error yung reading. So, kapag i-confirm mo, you have your Western blot assay. Kapag meron ka, for example, what is the confirmatory test for HIV? That is not ELISA. That is Western blot assay. Before, this is the gold standard of HIV testing. Ibig sabihin, ito yung ginagamit natin para makasigurado tayo na merong HIV ang ating pasyente. Ngayon, we have your CD4 and your HIV viral load already. Pag sinabi nating CD4 count, ina-assess natin kung gaano kadami ang CD4. Again, kapag less than 200 cells per millimeter cube, that is already indicative of your AIDS. Okay. Kapag naman, tawag dito, mataas pa yan, pero positive ka sa Western blot assay, you are still diagnosed with HIV, but not with AIDS. Okay? Tandaan natin na class, hindi dahil meron kang HIV, meron ka na agad na AIDS. Hindi. Okay? AIDS is the end stage of the HIV. Kung naman namamanage mo yung viral load mo, namamanage mo yung antiretroviral therapy mo, you would be undetectable, therefore you will not be developing AIDS as a disease. Okay? And then you have your HIV RNA PCR, which measures the HIV viral load. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng viral load, how many viruses do you have in your blood? Okay? Measures the amount of virus in the blood, and the goal with antiretroviral therapy is for you to be undetectable. Less than 50 copies per milliliter. Again, undetectable is equal to untransmissible. Okay? Naintindihan ba? Alright. Okay. Treatment. Pag sinabi nating treatment, lifelong treatment tayo dito. Okay. Pag sinabi nating lifelong treatment, until the end of time, until the end of our lives, we would be taking antiretroviral drugs. Okay? So ART is sino ba yun? Can you please mute? Can you please mute? Can you please mute?
Para isang oras po kayo.
Can you please mute? Okay. All right. So we have your treatment for your, sabi natin, treatment for HIV is lifelong. Okay. Ano ang kailangan nating i-treat dyan? We give your azithromycin or your ACT. Okay. This is the most common antiretroviral drug. Okay. For your antiretroviral therapy. Right? We also have your DDC or your dideoxytidine. Okay, your dideoxytidine also. Your AZT is used in combination with the protease inhibitor or idinavir or your sakinavir. Okay. Pero pinaka-importante dito would be your AZT, your azithromycin, and your DDC or your dideoxytidine. Okay, so what is the goal of antiretroviral therapy? Number one is to suppress viral replication para hindi na po mag-replicate ang ating HIV inside our CD4 cells. Therefore, hindi na nasisira, okay, hindi na nagde-destroy sa CD4 cells, your helper T cells and your natural killer cells. Thus, it would increase the CD4 count. Okay? It would delay progression to AIDS. Okay? So, and it reduces transmission. Sabi nga natin kanina pa, U is equals to U. Kapag undetectable ka na, ibig sabihin less than 50 copies per millimeter cubes ng blood mo. Okay? You are already undetectable. Thus, you could not transmit diseases. You are untransmissible. Okay? Naintindihan ba yung U equals to U? Because this is very important. Okay? All right, so that is your HIV. Any questions with regards to HIV? All right, so let's have a short break, a 5-minute break. Let us take a breath. Okay. Inom lang po. All right, so we go to your infectious mononucleosis. Infectious mononucleosis, alam ko bago lang to sa inyo. Okay, pag sinabi natin infectious mononucleosis, this usually affects teenagers in the United States and other parts of the world. Okay, not much here in the Philippines. Kasi hindi naman talaga active yung mga teenagers natin dito regarding that. At wala masyadong presence ng mono dito sa Philippines. Okay? So infectious mononucleosis is an acute self-limiting viral infection which is characterized by fever, pharyngitis, lymphadenopathy, and fatigue. Okay? It is most commonly caused by the EBV or the Epstein-Barr virus, an ubiquitous herpes virus infecting more than 90% of adults worldwide. So, the condition primarily affects adolescents and young adults. Especially those with social contact, like yung mga estudyante, right? Because this is relevant kasi mga estudyante, your students, those students living in a dorm, kapag may dorm kayo, and it spreads through saliva. Okay? Thus, it earns the moniker, your kissing disease. So this is the kissing disease. All right. So the Epstein-Barr virus or the EBV is a member of the herpes viridae family. So kasama din niya yung mga herpes zoster, mga varicella zoster viruses. It is a double-stranded DNA virus which causes latent infection. Okay? So pwedeng lifelong infection meron ka pa rin sa EBV virus kahit it's treated already. Okay? Less commonly, it is caused by your cytomegalovirus or CMV, your Toxoplasma gondii, and HIV infection, okay, which is a rare mimic of your kissing disease. So tignan natin, kanina we have already mentioned cytomegalovirus and your Toxoplasma gondii or your toxoplasmosis as comorbidities of your HIV or AIDS. So usually, kasama din po kapag meron kang HIV infection, meron kang signs and symptoms and manifestations of infectious mononucleosis. In the States, hindi infectious mononucleosis ang tawag nila dito. Okay? Minsan magpapacheck up, yung magpapatingin yung mga nanay doon, kasama nila yung mga anak nilang teenagers, yung mga minors. Tapos ida-diagnose namin sila mono. Okay? Tapos kailangan nilang 1 week absent sa school or 1 week rest, kailangan nilang maggamot. So mono, usually yan ang tawag natin. Okay? So sorry, I'm so sorry, you have been diagnosed with mono. Tapos sasabihin ng mga estudyante sa teacher, teacher, I have mono. So that is their term for infectious mononucleosis. Okay? All right. The mode of transmission, the most common would be saliva. Okay? And saliva can be shared through kissing, kaya na kissing disease. Okay? Ngayon, alam niyo na kung bakit sila prevalent at bakit mataas ang incidence sa mga teenagers, sa mga youth ng infectious mononucleosis. Dahil mahilig silang makipag-inuman. So, mahilig makipag-kiss. Yan. Indiscriminate kissing kills. Joke. Alright. Sharing drinks or sharing utensils, syempre may ano din yan, may presence din yan ng saliva natin. You also have droplets from coughing or sneezing, although this is less common. Right? And then blood transfusion and sexual contact, it's rare. It's possible, but it is not common. Right? People with Epstein-Barr virus can shed the virus intermittently for life even without symptoms. So lifelong infection to. Katulad ng sinabi natin kanina. Okay? The incubation period for your infectious mononucleosis is around 4 to 6 weeks, which is typical of your Epstein-Barr virus. But it can be shorter in children between 2 to 3 weeks. Okay? Between 2 to 3 weeks po ang incubation period kapag mga bata usually ang ating mga tinitingnan ng mga pasyente. Okay. Right. So what is the pathophysiology or of your Epstein-Barr virus causing infectious mononucleosis, or what we call your kissing disease or mono? Okay. Your Epstein-Barr virus infects the oropharyngeal epithelial cells and B lymphocytes. Okay. So kaya kissing disease kasi it is transmitted through the saliva. Therefore, the affectation would be the upper airways or the upper digestive tract. That would be your oropharyngeal region. Okay, pag sinabi nating oro, your mouth, your pharyngeal, your throat. Okay, your oropharyngeal epithelial cells or the surface cells of your oropharyngeal region and your beta lymphocytes. So next would be the infected beta cells undergo proliferation. Of course, there would be rapid multiplication, rapid duplication of your bacteria, of your virus, sorry, and then it would undergo rapid proliferation. Okay, it would produce heterophile antibodies which attacks the T cells. Okay? So T cells attack infected B cells or your atypical lymphocytosis. Okay? And then you would develop tonsillar and lymphoid swelling. Okay? Swelling of your tonsillar and your lymphoid tissues. So pag sinabi na later, papakita ko sa inyo yung picture, no? And then liver and spleen enlargement may occur during to lymphoid infiltration because The liver and spleen are also part of your lymph system, your lymphatic system. So nagkakaroon ng accumulation of your lymphatic vessels into your liver and your spleen, therefore causing splenomegaly and hepatomegaly. Immune activation, okay? Nagka-activate ang immune system mo because of the affectation of your lymphatic system. Intindihin niyo lang kunyari doktor ako. Lymphatic system. Okay, your lymphatic system, when it is affected, it would activate the immune system, causing fatigue and constitutional symptoms. Pag sinabi natin constitutional symptoms, this is concerned with our strength. Our body mass, our body strength, weaknesses, muscle wasting. So all of those are constitutional symptoms. All right. The clinical manifestation of infectious mononucleosis include when we call the classic triad. So for the triad would include fever, pharyngitis, and your lymphadenopathy. Okay. When we suspect infectious mononucleosis, okay, pag meron kang fever, pharyngitis, and lymphadenopathy, we could already include that in our differential diagnosis. Okay, for your fever, that is low to moderate grade, around 37.8 degrees Celsius to 39 degrees Celsius. Okay, it may last 1 to 2 weeks, so medyo matagal po ang fever mo dyan. Right? And then for your pharyngitis, the sore throat is severe. Okay? So severe that it would cover the airway. Right? So meron kang tonsillar hypertrophy. So your tonsils would swell, they would hypertrophy. Okay? You would develop exudates. Okay? Your tonsils and your pharynxes would develop exudates, a yellowish white exudates, and then reddish in color, and painful swallowing. Eh, syempre, meron kang pharyngitis, of course, you would have painful swallowing. What do we call painful swallowing? That is odynophagia. Okay, how do you remember odynophagia? Anong mararamdaman mo kapag lumunok ka ng dinosaur? Malamang masakit. Kaya odynophagia yung tawag natin. Alright. Lymphadenopathy when you have tender cervical lymph nodes. Okay? Enlargement of the lymph nodes which are painful to touch, that especially in the cervical area. And then your posterior cervical nodes most commonly enlarge. Okay, so sa neck po natin, nakikita ang ating cervical at ang posterior cervical nodes. Okay, so that is the classic triad of your infectious mononucleosis. Again, fever, pharyngitis, and lymphadenopathy. Okay, other manifestation will include intense fatigue. Sabi nga natin kasi meron tayong constitutional symptoms. Okay, so this would be including constitutional symptoms, including your malaise, right? So meron ka increased fatigue and your body weaknesses, that would be your constitutional symptoms. Headache, okay, develops rash, particularly if given ampicillin and amoxicillin. Bakit? Kasi sabi natin EBV ang cause ng ating mononucleosis. Tama? So, hindi po pwedeng bigyan ng ampicillin at amoxicillin because these are antibiotics. Okay, so kapag binigyan mo ng antibiotics, si virus, it would prompt more duplication, more replication, more proliferation. Therefore, hindi ka pwedeng magbigay nitong mga to. It would cause rashes sa'yo. Okay? Palatal petechiae, so meron kang mga red dots, okay? Indicative of mga sumasabog na blood vessels or yung mga capillaries mo in your palate. Okay? The soft palate and the hard palate. You have your hepatomegaly and your splenomegaly because, again, affected na po ang ating lymph system. Okay. What are your red flag symptoms or the complications of infectious mononucleosis? So we have your left upper quadrant pain, which would be indicative of splenic rupture. So pumuputok, sumasabog na po sa spleen natin. Okay, because splenomegaly is one of the manifestation of your infectious mononucleosis. You have your difficulty breathing, your airway obstruction. Sabi nga natin because you have swelling or inflammation of your palate, of your tonsils. Okay? So kapag si tonsil, si uvula at si tonsil nagkaroon yan ng inflammation, masasaraduhan ka ng airway, therefore you would have obstruction. So what do we need? We need to intubate the patient and give the patient oxygen therapy. Okay. Jaundice is due to hepatitis or your hepatomegaly, and you have your severe abdominal pain for your mesenteric adenitis because of your hepatomegaly and your splenomegaly as well. Okay, naintindihan? Okay, so this is an illustration of the main symptoms of infectious mononucleosis. So we have your central symptoms, which include fatigue, loss of appetite, malaise, and your headache. Okay, in your tonsils, you have reddening or erythema, you have swelling or inflammation, and white patches of exudates that are showing in your palate, your tonsils, and your palate. Okay, splenomegaly, which is resulting from the enlargement of your spleen, thus causing abdominal pain. So again, abdominal pain usually is a classic red symptom or red sign or a danger sign of your mono because it might indicate splenic rupture. Okay. Stomach causes your nausea and vomiting. Systemic, syempre meron tayong high fever that would be lasting from 1 to 2 weeks, your chills and your body aches. Okay. Respiratory, you would develop coughing, lymph nodes, lymphadenopathy. Okay. In your throat, your soreness, your redness, also exudates. Okay. And your visual symptoms, you would have photophobia or ayaw mo sa mga maliliwanag. Okay, so for the treatment and prevention of infectious mononucleosis, no vaccine available yet. Okay, wala pong available na vaccine for infectious mononucleosis. So anong gagawin? Huwag makipag-kiss. Huwag makipag-share ng drinks. Kapag for example, uy, painom nga, sasabihin ng classmate, sorry nag-iingat lang ako sa mono. 'Di ba? So food or personal items like toothbrushes, so mga gustong mag-share ng toothbrush dyan. Tapos with people who have infectious mononucleosis, minsan hindi mo alam may mononucleosis na pala. Akala nila sore throat lang. Okay? So you should not take penicillin antibiotics like ampicillin or amoxicillin again because this is a viral disease, not an antibiotic. Okay? And drinking fluids to stay hydrated, getting plenty of rest. Okay, you administer also on the over-the-counter medications for pain and fever. Usually, binibigay natin dito would be paracetamol lang. Ay, sorry, mali pala yung spelling ko ng paracetamol. Okay? So, ganito pala dapat siya. Yan. Okay? Avoid contact sports until fully recovered. Kasi meron kang constitutional symptoms. Okay? Body weakness, body aches, sore throat, fever. So, avoid contact sports. Bakit? Kasi nakakahawa din po ang saliva, nakakahawa din ang sweat. Okay? Tuwang-tuwa kayo sa paracetamol ko, ha? All right, then we go to candidiasis. Okay, so candidiasis is an infection caused by a yeast called Candida albicans. Ito din sa mga paborito ko. Okay, Candida normally lives inside the body, so in places such as the mouth, the throat, the gut. Okay, the mouth, the throat, the gut, and your uh, skin without causing any problems. Bakit? Kasi Candida albicans is an indigenous and a common microflora. Okay, it is a common resident, okay, in our mouth, throat, gut, and vagina. However, okay, kapag nagkaroon ka ng immunosuppression or nagkaroon ka ng immunocompromisation, okay, or nag-change si pH ng vagina mo, usually kasi acidic ang pH ni vagina, di ba? Kaya hindi nag-invade doon ng microorganisms. However, if you have a change in pH, if you have immunocompromisation, and if you are immunosuppressed, therefore, okay, an infection can occur. Okay? Ay, nawala. Okay, we have some predisposing factors of your Candida albicans, no? Candida albicans infection. So that would be your impaired immunity, number one. Okay, number one would be your impaired immunity. Okay, kasama dito ang ating HIV or AIDS. Okay, patients on chemotherapy especially, okay, or patients on steroids therapy kasi na mga immunosuppressant yung mga yan. Okay, organ transplant recipients because you are receiving immunosuppressants as drugs, immunosuppressive drugs for you not to develop organ rejection reactions, no? And your uncontrolled diabetes mellitus. Kapag medyo bakit kaya? Kasi kapag uncontrolled ang diabetes mellitus mo, nag-alter na rin ang pH ng blood mo. Okay? Also, you have your alteration of normal flora. Your alteration of normal flora. Okay, ibig sabihin, dati, madami ang normal flora mo that would control the proliferation and development of Candida albicans as a pathogen or a disease-causing microorganism. Especially notable of these are the use of your broad-spectrum antibiotics. Okay, yung hindi targeted, yung antibiotics mo, at it would target most, okay, if not all, of the resident microflora in your body. Okay, the use of oral contraceptives because oral contraceptives would make your vagina and vaginal secretions change in its pH. Right? And poor hygiene. Sige, wag kang maghugas. Tignan lang natin kung di ka magkasakit. Okay? And number 3 would be environmental or local factors. All right. Environmental would include warm and moist skin folds, okay, obesity, kapag medyo marami kang tupi-tupi, alam naman natin yan. Ang tawag doon, mga gilit-gilit. Right? So yan ang gustong tambayan ng Candida albicans. Okay? You have your tight clothing, masyadong tight. Hindi na nakakahinga si balat, hindi nakakahinga si vagina. Also pregnancy, because pregnancy alters the pH of the female reproductive tract. And your catheters, usually it's cause of infection, your KOT. Okay? So, pwedeng urinary catheter yan, pwedeng central line catheter din yan. Okay? Okay, predisposing factors, so yan yung sinabi natin. Sorry, yan na pala yun. Okay, impaired immunity, alteration of normal flora, and also your environmental or local factors. Okay? Okay, candidiasis. Okay, we have the types or the clinical manifestations of candidiasis. Okay, pag sinabi nating oral thrush or oral candidiasis, okay, sa bibig po ang affectation nito. Right? You have a white curd-like plaques on the tongue, the inner cheeks, or the plate. Usually kapag sa board exam makikita nyo cheese-like to. Ay, nawawala. Cheese-like. Cheese-like exudates. Okay. So pain on swallowing or adynophagia, cracking at the mouth corners, or what we call your angular cheilitis. Okay. For vaginal candidiasis, you have your thick cottage cheese discharge. Nakaka-gutom. Sige, pakitaan nyo ako ng cheese ngayon at nakakadiri. Okay, vulvar itching, okay, itching in the vulvar area. Okay, your burning and your redness. Right? Dyspareunia. What is dyspareunia? Can anyone tell me what dyspareunia is? Hindi alam? Okay. Dyspareunia is... Okay, +1 sa exam. Dyspareunia. Ay, isa-search nila. Bawi na lang pala. Hindi na. Okay, dyspareunia is pain during intercourse. Okay, pain during sexual intercourse. Okay. And no strong fishy odor. Okay? Kasi kapag bacterial vaginosis yan, mabaho siya. Okay? Amoy patis. Amoy isda, malansa. Pero kapag candidiasis, ibig sabihin fungal infection, Candida albicans, wala siyang masyadong amoy. Okay? Still, kahit walang amoy at makakita ka ng thick cottage cheese discharge, iwasan mo na po siya. Huwag mo na siyang mahalin. Joke. Okay. Cutaneous candidiasis, okay, affecting the skin, intertrigo in skin folds. When we say intertrigo, okay, yung mga namumula-mula, mga nag-inflammation, yung mga pangangate sa mga gilid-gilid ng mga gilit-gilit ng mga balat natin. Okay, that is your intertrigo. Okay? Which are red macerated patches with satellite lesions. Pag sinabi nating macerated, parang yung mga basang-basa. Yung alam niyo yung kapag nababad yung mga kuko ninyo, okay? Namumuti, ganun din yan. Okay? So uncommon, it's common under breasts, your groin and your axilla, where skin folds are. Okay? Also, systemic and invasive candidiasis, which is a severe form of candidiasis, occurs in immunocompromised patients. Okay, kaya yung mga HIV patients natin or AIDS patients natin, meron na silang invasive candidiasis. Okay? Fungemia is the presence of fungi in your blood. Therefore, it would cause septic shock syndrome. Okay? It would involve your kidneys, your liver, and your spleen, and it has a high mortality rate. Ibig sabihin kasi kapag nagkaroon ka ng invasive candidiasis, very immunocompromised ka na. Very immunosuppressed ka na. Okay, there would be developments of diseases that you can normally counter with immune systems, but due to low number of cell-mediated immunities or humoral immunities, you would suffer high mortality rate. So it's a dangerous disease. Okay? Right. So medical management for candidiasis would be topical antifungals. Okay? And topical antifungals are given from mild to moderate cases of candidiasis. Okay? We have your nystatin oral suspension. Okay? Swish and swallow for oral thrush. Pag sinabi nating oral suspension, hindi siya iniinom. Okay? Hindi siya OD, hindi siya per orem. Okay? Swish and swallow for oral thrush. Okay? Clotrimazole and miconazole are creams for skin or vaginal infections. Okay? However, for moderate to severe, we give you fluconazole, either PO or IV, which is a drug of choice for candidiasis, and amphotericin B, IV for severe systemic infections. Okay? Right. For medical management, management of underlying conditions, especially hyperglycemia, okay, I would want to zoom in on hyperglycemia. Why? Kasi it also changes the pH of the skin. pH changes in your skin, in your vagina. Okay? And then, there is increased, tawag dito, extra sugar or glucose in your blood. Okay? Tapos kapag nagkaroon ka ng glucose, nagkakaroon ng glucose sensitivity yung cells mo. Therefore, it would allow for proliferation of microorganisms such as your Candida albicans. Okay? Discontinue unnecessary antibiotics. Bakit? Kasi kapag hindi naman kailangan si antibiotics, it would also target resident microflora, indigenous microflora in our system, in our body, in our gut, in our skin, in our vagina, in your vagina, okay, in other parts of the body, which could be target for Candida albicans. Okay, kapag wala nang magkocontrol ng growth and proliferation ng Candida albicans, they would be opportunistic pathogens. Therefore, they would cause diseases, your oral thrush, your vaginal thrush. Okay? Ensure good hydration and nutrition. Right? Kailangan natin yan para tumaas po ang ating immune system. Okay? All right. So that ends our first part of the discussion. Okay, we will have wait, close ko lang to.